Do you want to know which players are set to absolutely smash in week 2 for fantasy football? Stay tuned, we're about to tell you. Welcome back, Endgame community. I'm Pierre and he's Chris. We're here to tell you who we think is going to boom in week 2 and help you win easily in your fantasy matchup. So let's start with your first pick, Chris. Who do you like?
I like Mike Williams this week. I know a lot of people are upset that they started Mike Williams in week 1, did barely anything. Herbert spread the ball all over the field to all kinds of random wide receivers and tight ends and things, but there's reasons to feel good about Mike Williams. Number one, we know this guy on any given week has massive week winning upside. Number two, Keenan Allen almost certainly not going to play in this game. Injured his hamstring on the short week, on the Thursday night, the short turnaround. Doubtful we're going to see Keenan Allen in this game. And number three, it's the Chiefs. This is going to be an absolute shootout. I got to think this is one of those weeks where, people say, oh, I'm never starting Mike Williams again. I'm benching him. I can't believe he did that to my team last week. And then he goes off and wins people their week. So if you had him last week and you're frustrated and you're upset and you said, hey, Mike Williams is the reason I lost my matchup, don't bench him this week. He's in a great spot in a game that should see a ton of scoring, a ton of points. I think he goes off this week and helps people win their matchups by himself.
All right, so I'm going to go in a similar vein. I'm going to go with a guy who was disappointing last week. Really should have done better, but there are circumstances as always. I'm going to talk about Brandon Ayuk. And look, we heard a lot this preseason about the connection between Trey Lance and Ayuk, and then we didn't see it in week 1. But look, we really didn't see anything good from the 49ers offense in week 1. Look, and that falls back on Trey Lance. It also goes back to Kyle Shanahan, the coach, right? He's the one who really should be shouldering a lot of the blame. We'll see if they get right in week 2. I kind of think they will because they're going to go and play Seattle. In fact, they're not going to Seattle. They're going to be at home, and so they don't have to worry about those conditions like they had in Chicago. The weather should be fine, and I think that they will get right. Look, Lance is a quality quarterback. First game, maybe he was nervous, wasn't prepared. The weather I already talked about. Running back got hurt mid-game. Debo was also disappointing last week. Only had 2 catches, 14 yards, but he had 8 carries for 52 yards. He was used as a runner like we saw last year. And you know what? They're going to do that again. So I think we see a lot more of the passing targets go to Ayuk. They'll be more successful this week, and it's really a good matchup. Seattle should have one of the lesser defenses. So I feel this is a week that you go back to Ayuk and don't miss out on the breakout. All right, let's keep going. Give me another boom pick for week 2.
I've got another Charger for you, and this time it's running back Austin Ekeler, another guy who disappointed fantasy managers in week 1. People worried that this is some kind of committee. Sony Michel is going to be more involved. Don't worry, Austin Ekeler is going to be fine. And I think in this game, again, with Keenan Allen out, we're going to see a lot of passes go his way. We're going to see one of those games where he's going to catch, 6, 7, 8 passes and just be a PPR monster. And of course, a shootout, tons of touchdown upside for Austin Ekeler in this game. Don't be worried about what happened last week. It's week 1. Don't overreact. Ekeler is going to be fine. And I think he bounces back in a big way. Along with Mike Williams, I think both these guys help their managers win matchups this week. So hold the fort. Don't panic. Ekeler is going to be great, going to catch a ton of passes and help you win your week 2 matchup.
Wait, did you just say don't overreact to week 1? I mean, come on, what are we doing here? We're fantasy football players. Of course we overreact. No, look. So Ekeler will be fine. He was a solid first-round pick. Look, maybe you should have taken one of those stud receivers first, but Ekeler will be fine. I will admit, Joe Mixon is a guy I said probably wasn't worth a first-round pick. Maybe he was. Look, he was fine last week. Nothing amazing. That game, well, it turned into a kind of a shootout. Well, at least Burrow had to throw it a lot because he kept turning it over. Mixon, though, what really stood out to me is the fact that he got a lot more volume than I expected early in the season. We kind of heard maybe they would scale back his workload early in the season, get more guys involved as receivers out of the backfield. Forget it. It was all Mixon. 27 carries and 7 catches. Now, I know it went to overtime and all that, but still, Mixon was a workhorse. If they're going to treat him like that, of course, this offense is pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. He's a rock solid top 5 running back. It's hard to say these days. Who knows? But look, Mixon now gets to face the Cowboys, who are already reeling after 1 week. This is a team that is okay on defense, but I have a feeling the offense is just going to keep giving it back to them. And so I feel like Mixon can rack up yards. I think he has a good chance to have a boom game, and he's known for those. So loving Joe Mixon in week 2. All right, and then give me another guy you think is going to go off.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my theme going of disappointments in week 1 who will boom in week 2. And let's go with Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Rams. Not anything close to what we expected in week 1. We thought that game would be a shootout. We thought the Rams would put up a ton of points. We thought Allen Robinson would be good. None of that happened. Matthew Stafford was terrible. And I know a lot of people are blaming the elbow, but I don't think there's anything wrong with his elbow. I think the two biggest factors here were, number one, the Bills' defense. They got pressure on Matthew Stafford, only rushing 4 guys. They were dropping 7 guys back into coverage almost every snap, blocking the lanes, making it hard for him to find open receivers. And number 2, the Rams don't play in the preseason. They don't play their starters in the preseason. So he had no preseason action with Allen Robinson. You saw it in that game. Every time he got in trouble, he just looked for Cooper Kupp or Tyler Higbee or guys he already knew. I think with the extra, 10 days of rest, 10 days of practice, not going against a Bills defense, this Atlanta defense, while it's not maybe awful, it's still really bad. They're not going to be able to get pressure on him with only 4 guys. They're going to have to send some blitzes at him. He feasts against the blitz. I think we see a way better Matthew Stafford this week. So if he was your QB1, if you drafted him, don't worry, don't panic, drop him or anything. Roll him out there again this week. It's a great matchup. I think he bounces back big time and has one of the best QB weeks of anybody in week 2.
Well, you already made half my argument for me because I'm going with Allen Robinson. So I'm not just saying that you should start him. I'm saying you must start him. This is why you drafted him, right? A matchup like this, obviously Atlanta, look, they fought hard last week, but this is not a defense you should be scared of. And look, as bad as the Rams look, like you said, is the Bills. The Bills defense may be the best in the NFL. The Bills definitely motivated to come in and make the Super Bowl this year. The Rams, they just look flat. But look, a lot of teams come out and look flat in week 1, especially teams that went deep into the postseason. Usually it's the team that lost the Super Bowl that comes out and struggles, maybe all season long, which the Bengals kind of did. But this time it was the Rams, all right? But I'm not worried about Stafford. Like you said, I'm not worried about that whole offense. I think they're okay, all right? And the passing game will go off this week against Atlanta. If anything, I think they're going to try to make a point of force-feeding Allen Robinson. Obviously, Stafford rushed all game, that pass rush of Buffalo. He was scrambling, and when he was running for his life, what did he do? He dumps it off to his safety blanket, which is Cooper Kupp. He'll have time this week. He will find Robinson, and they will be a dynamic duo. So I think both guys should definitely be in your starting lineup. All right, those are our favorite boom picks. Don't forget to also check out our busts and our start sit advice. Our playlist right here has all the advice that you need to help you win in week 2.